So probably you're facing some issues with the USB loop ground noise. So like really irritating noise from the USB audio devices if you plug them all together in the PC or in the Mac or same outlet. I myself like facing this problem in a very bad way. And actually, when I started buying synths, and my first synth was Roland Boutiques, and I have him right on my desk. This Roland Boutiques, I really like those units, but they are USB powered units, and you have no option to power them through like any other way. So just only USB powered devices. And the particular MIDI keyboards as well, particular gear are only powered with the USB, and only start connected all them together in the one PC or in the one outlet, you notice that they start to produce some strange background noise. Sometimes it's noise more heavy, noticeable. Sometimes it's just a tiny but noticeable. But when you start to crank up the compression of the record that was recorded with this USB loop ground noise, this will come to light. The shit is come to light because the compressor start to compress not only good signal but this background noise. So in this video I want to share my experience how I solved this problem. It's not a perfect solution, but it works for me. So first of all, you need to connect all the devices that you want to use in the same time. For example, MIDI keyboard, as I have K-Step Pro, for example, and a couple of Roland Boutiques and maybe something else. And after that, you just need to wear headphones and crank up the level of the audio of the headphones and start to listen and turn on all the devices and start to listen the devices. And you should power off them all and start to power on them piece by piece, so unit by unit. And maybe first couple of devices will not generate USB hum, but if the first device starts to produce USB hum, you need to unplug this device and start to power up the next one. When you power up all the devices and the USB devices that generate the hum noise, you just unplug them and try the different outlet from the different source. For example, you have two inputs to power strips in your studio. Try to separate the power outlets and use the power outlets with the USB, or try the USB hub, for example, like IKEA Soul, and I can show you in the picture what I'm using right now. So right now I'm using, I just make this picture a little bit larger. So right now I'm using the cheap IKEA. You see this white one, cheap IKEA USB like power hub. And you can use a power strip with the USB that I had, and you just need to experiment and plug the all different USB devices and different power strips and outlets, and eventually this will eventually if you start to like plug and unplug the devices that generate the specific annoyance hum, USB powered ground loop, you will find the solution. But you need at least, I have 3 independent power outlets. So I have in my wall, I have 2 power inputs for the power strip, and I use them both, and the other wall in my apartment, in my studio, I use the third one. So I use the free and independent power input in my walls in order to plug the different power outlets. And this helps me. This helps me solve the problem, because right now I have, and I can switch again to my, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now I have 5 devices that connected simultaneously through USB, and maybe 6 and 7, maybe I didn't notice something. And it's not generated any ground loop noise. But if I start to plug and unplug something, experimenting and rearrange my studio as I usually do, one of the devices could start generate this ground loop noise. And what I do, as I described, I pick my headphones, crank up the level in order to clearly hear what particular device is generating this noise. And I start to experimenting with cables, try a different cable, try a different outlet, and eventually every time I come up with no USB hum ground. I know this is not the perfect solution, but you know, there's a specific devices, specific USB dehummer that's sold on Amazon, on a different platforms. But the downside of this, it's the one unit with just one USB connection costs around $60, and it's like a little bit too expensive as I think. Well, but I heard that one guy said that he just bought this one dehummer and connect all the USB hub with like 10 USB inputs. Well, I didn't try this method, but it could help if you have tons of USB. But my free independent power strip outlets kind of solve this problem at this point. So I hope you find this video helpful, and I wish you the very nice day. Bye.